Look, you can laugh at me if you want. You can scoff at me, you can curse at me, you can ridicule, whatever you feel like doing. But I like Jake Paul. I believe in Jake Paul. I believe in his will and his ever-improving boxing skill. But mostly, I believe that, as he said just after the quote-unquote fight that just ended, he's him. He's got it. He knows how to self-promote. He knows how to position himself to do the impossible. A lot of people thought Mike Tyson was going to beat him. I can't even remember how old Mike is now. 82. And I predicted Jake would toy with Mike Tyson, but respect him in the end and not put him down. And he didn't put him down. He honored him, kept him upright. And tonight he fought another son of a legend, a son who's actually had his moments in the SUN son, Julio Cesar Chavez, they say Chavez, I say Chavez, Chavez Jr., who's 39 years of age, and it's been, 14 years since he won the middleweight championship, but he's won 54 fights. He knows how to do it. His father really, really, really knew how to do it. Talk about skill and will. And I wanted to see Jake knock him out early. I said 4 rounds. Jake said 5 rounds. And I felt like we needed to see that for his self-promotion. We needed to see him, even against what's left of Chavez Jr., who's been in trouble. One thing, he had 3 drug violations and an illegal weapons possession charge last year. He's missed weight several times. We know all this. But he just knows how to box. And he had a game plan tonight, and he almost rope-a-doped Jake Paul. Jake Paul, I don't care what Jake said after the fight, he was in trouble because Chavez Jr. barely fought for the first, really 7 rounds, but the first 4 for sure were just like giveaways. I didn't know what he was doing. I was like, Lord have mercy. This is hard to watch. It just looked like he was there, as Logan Paul said before the fight, he just wants his bag. So whatever his takeaway was going to be, he just wanted that, and he didn't want to get hurt. And he was playing great defense because he had both hands up this way the whole fight, just covering his face. And Jake couldn't get a good shot in. Jake can power punch. Jake Paul packs a wallop. Jake Paul is figuring out how to be a textbook boxer with a big right hand and a nice left jab. It's nice. It's not as potent, but the right hand is powerful. And Chavez rope-a-doped him and just said, I give you the body. You can have it. Fire away. Reminds me of Rumble in the Jungle. It's my all-time favorite fight. Big George Foreman is just pounding away at Ali on the ropes. And Ali's asking him, is that all you got? Is that all you got? Is that all you got? And you know what happened? Big George just punched himself out. It basically, I know he bounced back, but it basically ended his heavyweight championship run of dominance. It wasn't dominance. It was people are afraid they were going to get killed in the ring by George Foreman. Glowering, menacing, biggest, baddest man in the history of boxing was that guy going into that fight in Ali's camp. His loyalists, his advisors, his inner circle, they thought he was at risk of getting killed in the ring in Zaire. Whew. But this is a very small version of that. But the concept was the same, that Chavez is just saying, hit me. Take my stomach. You can have it. You can take my sides and stomach. You can pound. And he was pounding away. And I'm telling you, Jake punched himself out. So we got to round 8, 9, and 10. It was scheduled for 10. I told Ernestine, she was waiting to eat dinner, and I just said, hey, it'll be over in 4. It won't take too long. She said, I can't watch it. Okay, so she goes in. She's eating already. And it's going on, and it's going on. And then we get to 8, 9, and 10. And Chavez won all 3 of those rounds. I don't care what you said. The judges scored at 99, 91, 97, 93, 98, 92. But I definitely had Chavez winning the last 3 rounds. He was the aggressor. He landed more. He landed 61 total punches in the fight, 40 in the last 3 rounds, all of which I gave to Chavez Jr. Jake for the fight threw 482 to only 154 for Chavez Jr. But the point was, man, Jake was in trouble at the end of round 10 over the last 30 seconds. Chavez had him on the ropes and was just whacking away, coming with combos and uppercuts and jabs and roundhouse rights on top of the head. And he was just landing and landing and landing. And Jake scoffed after the fight. But trust me, Jake was in big trouble. Jake showed me that he could take not a punch, he took a bunch of punches. And when he was saved by the bell, when the bell ended in the fight, Jake took off running across the ring to show, no, I'm fine. I'm not staggered. I'm not dizzy, not reeling. He ran to his corner and jumped up on the ropes, celebrated. And he should have. He clearly won the fight. There's no controversy about that. But then he thinks the Mexican fans in attendance at Anaheim at the Honda Center were booing him as he took the mic post-fight. And he told him to shut the fuck up. He says, boos are just words. I showed you action. I beat your boy's ass, he said. But then he, of course, 360'd and said, or I should say 180'd, and said, Chavez Jr. is a Mexican warrior. He is. He is. He's got that in his bloodline. You could just see it. But Jake's point post-fight was, I've only been in this for 5 years. Wait till I get going. That's his game plan, is to get going. Then he said he embarrassed Chavez Jr. I don't know that he embarrassed him. I wanted to see more. But obviously, Jake is still learning. And I said after 3 rounds, I was tweeting, he needed a fight. He needed a test. Well, he got one the last 3 rounds. And I think he kind of waited around for the test. I think he dared him to test him because Jake took this fight as a workout. It wasn't just a sparring session. It was a workout. And he punched himself out. He looked pretty gassed. Especially in round 10, he looked pretty gassed. So he's asked, where to now? And he said, well, it's a long line of people who want to fight me. Take a fucking ticket, he said. So he didn't give any hints about which way to go. I don't know. He wants Canelo. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I had Jake on my show back on FS1. I don't know when it was. I'm losing track of the years. I think it was 2017, maybe. He was a big fan of the show. We had him, Shannon and I, kept him for 20-ish minutes, and he was great. But at that point, he's saying, I want Canelo. Well, he's barely getting going. Maybe it's 2019, because if he's only been at it for 5 years. I don't know. It was the beginning of it. He was a YouTuber. He was a self-promoter. He was the problem child. And the point was that he's saying, I want Canelo, and Shannon's looking at me across the table like, he does? No, he doesn't. And I think I tweeted about it afterwards. I've said this from the start. I believe he will fight Canelo, and I think, as Logan said before tonight's fight, they were that close to a Canelo fight now, right now. It felt like Canelo pulled out of it. I don't know the politics. I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but it just felt like Canelo was the one. Maybe he didn't want to stoop at this point to look like he's fighting a YouTuber. I don't know. And obviously Jake is not ready, and even Logan admitted on DAZN, on the coverage, with Ariel that he just said, no, I'm the one in the family who tells the truth, sometimes to a fault. And he said, Jake's not ready for Canelo right now. Okay, but there's something about Jake. He just figures things out on the fly. Maybe it's not now. Maybe he's going to wait Canelo out till Canelo's just old. Maybe that's the game plan. I've brought that up before. Just kind of wait him out until he's too old and he takes you at the very end, the bitter end, and you figure out a way to hang in with him. All I know is I'm going to predict this right here, right now. Whenever they fight, it will be a hellacious fight because Jake Paul will make it a hellacious fight. There's just something about this kid. He's 28 now. He weighs 200 pounds. They fought this one at cruiserweight. You know, the Tyson fight was heavyweight. He could fight whatever. But he's a 200-pounder. And he is powerful, and he looked good tonight. There was no overweight going on tonight. He just looked big and good and powerful and strong, but he got gas. Because, man, you throw 480 to go try. Go try. Just throw him against the punching bag. Throw 40 punches against the punching bag and see how you feel. I know I boxed back in whatever it was. 8th grade, I think it was. God. Oh, man. You're going 3-minute rounds and you're trying to go 5 rounds. And in the 4th round, you feel like your arms are going to fall off. So if he threw 480, yeah, he's going to get tired. And they're it was rope-a-dope. It was classic Rumble Jungle. He's throwing as hard as he could throw against. Do not underestimate how much punishment Chavez Jr. took to the body. These are body shots. Big roundhouse right with all he's got. You hit him 5 times like that and you're going to be gassed. Learning lessons. But I'm telling you, he looked like a boxer tonight. I like all of it. I like the uppercuts. I like the jabs. I like the roundhouse rights. I like the straight rights. I liked all of it. I like the footwork. But all of a sudden, he got blitzed in the last 3 rounds because Chavez became the aggressor, and all of a sudden, Jake is backpedaling. Lesson learned, okay? I'm liking what I see. I believe in Jake Paul, and I believe he'll hang in with Canelo and make it a fight, and it will go the distance, and he may need a judge to give him a break, especially if it happens within the next year or 2. I don't know, but if it was that close, maybe it's getting to that close, because it's going to be the biggest person boxing history. It's going to be the biggest financial boondoggle somebody's ever going to pull off, because people will pay to see this. So he fought one Mexican warrior tonight, and I'm waiting for him to fight the Mexican warrior, Canelo. And I need to see how soon it happens, but I'm just not sure I'm going to bet against Jake Paul against Canelo. I've said this from the start. There's just something about this kid. He came from nowhere. He was screaming that tonight, that he came from nowhere. What did he say? I'm 28 and I run this fucking shit. Okay. He does. He's running it. He's the biggest draw in boxing right now. And as Chavez says, he's not ready for champions, but Chavez said he's a good boxer. Chavez says, I tired him out, but he's strong. He's a good boxer, said Chavez. So I think he gained some credibility tonight against a guy with a credible past, not a credible near past, but a distant past, obviously. People laugh. I'm sure you're laughing at me now, but just remember that I said this. There'll come a day when Jake Paul will give Canelo all he wants.